The doctors stared at the ultrasound screen in disbelief. A man sat nervously on the hospital bed, clutching his stomach, waiting for answers. And then, the truth appeared. He wasn't suffering from a tumor or a rare illness. He was pregnant. But that wasn't the end of the shock. Inside him were not one, not two, but three tiny heartbeats. Yes, a man, carrying triplets. The case stunned the medical world, but there's something you don't know yet. Do you want to know who the father of these babies was? That part of the story will surprise you even more. Parenthood was never supposed to be part of his story. At 27, Alex Rivera was focused on his career, friendships, and living life with the freedom he had worked so hard to claim. Laughter, travel, and independence filled the picture he had drawn for himself. Not diapers, bottles, or sleepless nights. As a transgender man who had been living openly as male for several years, Alex was no stranger to challenges. With testosterone therapy and a strong sense of self, he had long embraced his identity and moved forward with confidence. He thought he had control over his future, clear about the choices he would and wouldn't make. But life doesn't always ask for permission. It has a way of surprising even those who are certain about their path. And for Alex, fate was preparing a chapter so unexpected that it would leave him and everyone around him in disbelief. It began with small things: nausea, exhaustion, a belly that seemed to bloat overnight. At first, Alex thought it was side effects from his hormones. Maybe stress, maybe diet. But when the fatigue became unbearable, he went to the hospital expecting answers about a stomach problem. The doctor ordered an ultrasound to be safe. Alex lay there, staring at the ceiling, completely unprepared for what came next. When the screen lit up, the technician froze. She called for another doctor. Then another. Alex sat up, his heart racing. Finally, one of them turned to him and said quietly, almost in disbelief, "Alex, you're pregnant." The room spun. He thought it was a cruel joke. But it wasn't. And when the image zoomed in, the truth became even more shocking. 3 tiny flickers of light. 3 heartbeats. Triplets. Triplet pregnancies are rare. In transgender men, almost unheard of. The medical staff suddenly found themselves in uncharted waters. Could his body sustain 3 babies at once? Would the years of testosterone therapy interfere with the pregnancy? Were there risks nobody had ever documented before? Specialists from endocrinology, fertility, and high-risk obstetrics were called in. Every appointment felt like a science experiment where no one knew the outcome. For the doctors, it was groundbreaking medicine. For Alex, it was a nightmare. He had never wanted to be a parent. Now, his body was carrying 3 lives at once. The stress weighed heavily on him. Nights were spent crying, staring at the ceiling, wondering if he should go through with it. And that's when another question came crashing into his mind. Who was the father going to be in all of this? The answer to that question was even more complicated. The father was Daniel, Alex's ex-partner. Months before this pregnancy was discovered, Alex and Daniel had broken up. Their relationship had always been rocky. Arguments about the future, especially children, tore them apart. Daniel wanted a family someday. Alex didn't. That clash of dreams was enough to end things for good. Or so they thought. Now, with 3 babies inside him, Alex faced the truth. Daniel was the father. And sooner or later, he had to know. One evening, Alex picked up the phone with trembling hands and dialed Daniel's number. When Daniel answered, his voice was cold. They hadn't spoken in months. "Why are you calling?" he asked. Alex hesitated, then blurted out, "I'm pregnant. And it's triplets." Silence. A long, heavy silence. Daniel finally spoke, his voice breaking. "You're serious?" Alex didn't even know what answer he wanted from him. But the news shattered whatever distance they had left. Within days, Daniel was at the hospital for the next ultrasound. When he saw the screen, 3 fluttering heartbeats, he broke down in tears. "Those are mine," he whispered. The breakup suddenly seemed irrelevant. They were tied together forever now, whether they liked it or not. Carrying 1 baby is hard. Carrying 3 is brutal. For Alex, it was torture. The back pain was constant. He could barely sleep. His blood pressure soared, and gestational diabetes set in. Every doctor's visit carried new warnings. Risk of early labor, risk of complications, risk of losing one or all of the babies. And yet, against every odd, the triplets kept thriving. Strong heartbeats, steady growth, perfectly healthy despite everything. The medical team admitted they were astonished. They had expected constant complications, but Alex's body, though pushed to its limits, was adapting. It became clear this wasn't just a rare pregnancy. It was history in the making. At 31 weeks, it happened. Alex's body couldn't take it anymore, and he went into early labor. The hospital prepared for chaos. An army of doctors, nurses, and neonatal specialists filled the room. It was tense, surgical lights glaring, monitors beeping. Hours later, the cries of 3 babies filled the air. 2 boys, 1 girl. All premature, but alive. Daniel held Alex's hand through the entire ordeal, whispering, "We'll get through this." And as the babies were wheeled to intensive care, Alex lay exhausted, staring at the ceiling again. Only this time, with 3 tiny lives waiting for him. He hadn't wanted this. But now it was real. The case of Alex Rivera stunned the medical world. A transgender man carrying triplets wasn't just rare, it was almost impossible. Yet it happened. Doctors learned invaluable lessons about pregnancy, biology, and resilience. But for Alex and Daniel, the lesson was far more personal. Sometimes, life doesn't care about your plans. Sometimes, the very thing you fear most becomes the thing that defines you. And for these two, a broken relationship found a strange new glue, 3 tiny heartbeats that had pulled them back together. What do you think? Should Alex have told Daniel right away, or kept the secret? And if you were in Alex's place, would you have had the strength to go through with a pregnancy like this?